Karen, just to be clear, you didn't do it.
We know who did it, Steve. We know. And we know who spearheaded this cover-up. You all know.
Yes, we do.
If John was beaten up and attacked in that house, who did it?
We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know. And it's not for us to know. Somebody other than Karen is responsible for that, for the killing of John.
Roberta in the truth zone, mic hitting raw. Spotlight shining, she exposing the flaw. Debunking the myth, breaking their facade. This is Glass City, respect the squad. On these NYC blocks where the skyline flex big. Roberta Glass slicing lies with a truth rig. Innocence frosters, your stories unravel. She's a map through the madness of gritty gravel. Glass don't bend and facts don't break. She's a storm that's called you feel the quake. Exposing tales stitched with crooked seams. Justice in the lens, shattered fake dreams. Screams about killers, painted heroes in disguise. She burning propaganda with fire in her eyes. No glamour for the guilty, she call it straight. She backs victims, the voice stay away. Stats and receipts, no spin, no clutter. Cold cases whisper, she cuts through the mutter. Truth's her tempo, don't confuse the beat. She's standing for the real while you taking a seat. True crime's a block, facts the artillery. Spinning those lies, yo, she checks that misery. Tabloid tales get smashed, no time to play. She's glass hard, break the false and save the day. True crime's a block, facts the artillery. Spinning those lies, yo, she checks that misery. Tabloid tales get smashed, no time.
Okay, here we go. Day 30 of Karen Reed's trial. Hello, Kath Dunn. Hello, Texas Rat. Debbie Martin. Taterbug, thank you for holding down the fort. Moderation-wise, Susan Hicks. Hello, hello, hello. Dark Side of the Moon. Roz 805. Lot of friendly faces. Your latex spouse. Lolly 77. Nice to see you here. Also, backing up the moderation. On emergency backup moderation duty. Let me know, Lolly 77, if you want to be if you want to be forgiven of those duties. Goldie Lawrence, Tony Natali, the great Tony Natali in the chat. Scorpio Moon Gal. Okay. Keith, hello, everybody. Day 30, I found very tedious in the Karen Reed trial. I saw who was saying that earlier? Debbie Martin in the chat going, I thought Judge Cannoni was going to do a full day, yet she lets the jury go. She never comes through on her promises. Have you noticed? We're going to work all the way through, full day, all the way. And then, I don't know. I mean, 15 minutes, it's not a big deal, but I'm tired of hearing about how we're going to have these full days and, we don't. And most of it was spent, a lot of it was spent in sidebar. We had Dr. Elizabeth Laposata, the disgraced medical examiner from Rhode Island, on the stand. I will spare you a lot of her testimony in a nutshell, but I will show you some of her cross because I think it's important. I have gone over her in a previous episode. Now, if you don't know who Dr. Laposata is, she is the disgraced, though she disputes that description, medical examiner, most famous for the Station nightclub. And she says it's all erroneous stuff that came out in the press, but it wasn't just the press, and I'll tell you a little bit more about it. It wasn't just the press that was saying this, something a little bit deeper. She says that basically what was reported is that she was being called for hours and hours. So this is the Station nightclub fire where 100 people died in a nightclub fire in Rhode Island. And they were calling the medical examiner and calling her over and over again. And she was saying, I'll be on my way. And it took hours for her to arrive on the scene. And she disputes that in this cross-examination. It took a lot of doing for Hank Brennan to even get it in, but I thought it was more than fair since the defense opened up on it on direct. She said that she's been given awards, victims' rights awards. I was like, what victims are giving her awards? I'd like to know about that organization. That's got to be a sham organization. She's essentially now a hired gun for the defense. Hank Brennan has used her. He disputes how many times. I wonder what the relationship was like. It certainly was very nasty from the get-go on cross. I mean, he said good afternoon to her, and she says, well, 6 minutes to the afternoon. So she's getting in her, like, I'm so precise, I don't miss a trick kind of thing, communicating to the jury, that kind of thing. I thought some of what she testified to, so she says he couldn't be hit by a car, John O'Keefe, this is what she's testifying, but he was hit by some kind of blunt force, medium to hard force, but it can't be a car. How does she know it can't be a car? And what does she think about the microscopic pieces of taillight embedded in John O'Keefe's shirt? She thinks that just was sprinkled on him like fairy dust and managed to survive all that transporting and everything that it went through in the hospital? I don't know. Seems odd, no? It just seemed like she was, some of her things seemed very, when it seemed in line with the Commonwealth's theory, and then she veered off into these strange directions that you don't know why, other than getting paid, that she went there. I mean, I don't know what the jury's going to think of her. Let's get into it. Let me show you, and then let me show you some of the reporting. Also, John DePietro, who said he was reporting live on the station nightclub fire, disputes. Will he be brought in as a rebuttal witness? Disputes Dr. Laposata's defense. Says she never got any of these calls. That, in fact, I mean, spoiler alert, she says that she gave it was only written in the press, and that she gave the press her phone records, and that somehow the press never retracted. I don't know. It seems fishy, very fishy. But she's really a dark figure. She just has this darkness about her. I mean, you think maybe she's dealing with dead bodies to satisfy some of these dark urges in herself. There's something just so unnerving about her. And she has this, and as an asthmatic myself, I may sound like this myself sometimes, but heavy breathing, it seems like heavy breathing that she did. It's hard to even hear her testimony yesterday. The breathing was so heavy and odd. And I don't know if she's suffering with some kind of medical issue, but it was distracting, at least for me. I don't know how the jurors took it. I don't know. It's not quite, I don't think it's quite the win for the defense, because she didn't look at the body. She didn't look at the scene. She didn't look at the other evidence. She's like, oh, I do these things just from the body. Like she's some kind of medical psychic. It's odd. Take a listen. Here's where Hank Brennan asks about the nightclub. Here we go.
Impacts may or may not have occurred to the body. I don't take a car and look at mileage and such like that.
You don't do any studies of the actual vehicles. You're focused on the body?
I'm focused on the body, but I also look at the vehicles to look at the points of impact that might be possible.
Oh, really? Did you take a look at Karen Reed's taillight? Her smashed to smithereens taillight? Did you think maybe that point of impact might have been possible? Luncheons and a break with an occasional trial. Yeah, it was a lot of... Yesterday, we always have a lot of sidebars. Speaking of sidebars, tomorrow, I don't know if I'm going to be used or not, but I may be on Court TV from 10 to 11 with Julie Grant, which will be fun if if there's a break in testimony, they'll bring me on. It's not the mid-morning break time, so I don't know if I will be used or not, but should be on if there's a long enough break. Carmel O'Reilly, thanks for the super sticker. JMS, thanks for the super sticker. So here we go. Back to this. Whoop. I'm just like pressing my screen like it's going to make it happen.
You do not have any advanced study in biomechanics, do you?
No.
Now, you had mentioned that when you were in the medical examiner's office, you had a number of higher profile cases.
Well, every case is important because somebody's dead.
You pointed out some pretty specific ones on direct examination. Were those more important, the ones that were?
Why can't she just say somebody's dead? She's like, somebody's dead. Like, she's so incensed by it. Yet she's making her blood money. I mean, she makes her money defending murderers. So I don't know. I didn't think Hank Brennan really made sufficient roads in that department. She's very slippery. She's a really hard. I knew she would be hard because we went over her testimony in the previous trial. Now I don't even remember the murderer's name. But he killed his wife in the same courtroom he was being tried and put rocks on her and put her in a lake. And she was testifying for the defense in that trial. She has an alternate way for every defense on how someone died. I mean, she's like the ultimate hired gun for the defense.
Highlighted, or is that the same as every other case?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, you had mentioned the Egypt airline crash, station nightclub fire. Those were highlighted or pronounced on direct examination. Are they equally important as every other case?
Oh, absolutely. Every person is my patient.
You talked about some of your commendations. The station nightclub fire, you received quite a bit of criticism on that, didn't you?
Well, there was a flurry of negative press without any basis.
You had mentioned that a doctor, a medical examiner, should have gone out to the scene to look at the area where John O'Keefe was found to make observations. Did you suggest that in any way on direct examination?
You have to know what the scene looks like.
But I knew what it looked like just fine with pictures. She had a lot of contradictions like this. Like that we don't need anything because we look at the actual body, but she didn't look at the actual body. She's getting this all from pictures and she's getting paid. Why not the actual number? Why aren't we hearing the actual number, what anyone's getting paid? So curious why this isn't being asked. I mean, this is like a question that was asked in, it was Ghislaine Maxwell's trial, Robert Durst's trial. So many trials, experts are asked what they get paid an hour. Why aren't we hearing what any of these people, I'd love to know what Dr. Russell's getting paid. So anyway, this is going into the station nightclub fire very shortly.
And usually that is documented in police reports and in police photographs who document the scene.
The station nightclub fire, that had numerous victims, didn't it?
Yes, 100.
And you received criticism because you were repeatedly requested by emergency responders and police officials to come to the scene, and you refused?
That's incorrect. First of all, nobody called me to come to the scene, and medical examiners are not first responders. As soon as I got a call that there was that fire in the nightclub, my investigator went right to the scene, and I was in constant communication with him throughout the early morning hours of that horrible accident. And I went into the medical examiner's office because I had to start getting ready to run our office 24 hours a day to not only take care of the poor individuals who expired in the nightclub fire, but also the regular work.
Did you say John O'Keefe was 7? I heard 5'11". Am I way off with what I heard? I heard 5'7" or 5'11" or something like that. 5'10", the 5 feet plus territory. I didn't hear 7 feet, but I'll have to listen again.
Work of the medical examiners. So there was no need for me to go to the scene because I had my investigator there, and my job would be at the office to get things all set up to handle the influx of deceased.
Did you receive criticism that over 17 hours there was an effort to have you come to the scene, but you refused?
There were,
I'm going to allow it in a different form.
yeah, that's incorrect.
Hold on,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I didn't mean to scare you. Just
Oh. Okay.
hold on for a second.
Okay.
May I ask you differently, Mr. Brennan, please?
Did you receive criticism that officials?
I'm going to allow it based on the.
I mean, they're just objecting like crazy, the defense. And they're fighting tooth and nail and winning sometimes. I mean, they fought this morning about, she's not a dog expert, but she can say he got hit, his arm injuries came from an animal. And then I don't remember hearing it, but I may have gone into a coma by the end of I'm being honest, by the end of did you guys hear it? So they're saying 5'11", and then she said 7 feet. So I missed it. Did I miss where she said his arm injuries came from an animal? I mean, Alan Jackson fought tooth and nail to get that in. But you can't say what animal? I mean, it doesn't even make any logical sense. But okay. Another weakness from Judge Cannone.
The ending, pursuant to the ending. Let's get it.
Did you receive criticism that for over 17 hours officials were asking you to come to the scene and you refused?
It was untrue. It was printed in the newspaper. We looked up all the phone records and provided it to the newspapers and showed that nobody called me to go. I would have gone if I needed to. I had my investigator there. It was just bullshit. No, it was erroneous.
I've never heard that. I heard. Was it a large part of her testimony? I missed it. I must have gone to another place. I don't know. I didn't remember hearing it. The defense asked how much Welcher got paid when they questioned him. Good point. Yeah, I missed. So I've never heard an expert cuss. It just all seemed like she just has zero morals and will say anything. That's what I get from her.
Stuff.
Was there other criticisms in 2005 before you left the office?
No, there was a flurry of stuff in the papers. There were union issues, new director of health, new governor. So yeah, there was a little flurry of stuff, which was not substantive.
So you inevitably did resign in 2005.
Yes, because my budget was going to be cut, and I knew that if I had to get rid of a medical examiner, we couldn't do a good job for the state, and I'd done it. I'd been chief for 12 years. I'd been on call 24 hours a day for 12 years, which was an honor, really. But then if I couldn't do a good job, if we cut the budget, I had to get rid of a medical examiner.
It was an honor, but when 100 people die, she doesn't want to show up. She's so honored that she sends someone else. She figures, listen to her here, because if you listen very carefully, so glad I'm not a juror in this case. I mean, if you listen carefully, listen to what she says, right? She had to get rid of a medical examiner. That was her whole argument, that another medical examiner was there. Someone lower on the total pole was there at the station fire where 100 people died. Station nightclub fire in Rhode Island where 100 people died.
I couldn't serve the people of Rhode Island well, so I resigned.
Did you resign shortly after the audits and criticism?
No.
Same year?
Oh, I don't even remember.
After you resigned, you opened your own company?
Yes, I started it in.
Who's going to believe they don't remember the year they resigned from their, in the circumstances of the job that they had for 12 years? I remember why I left every job I ever left. You know?
Independent consulting practice.
How much of your business is consulting?
It's a consulting practice.
Yep. How much of your business, how much of your income is consulting?
100%. It's consulting.
Do you consult in both criminal and civil cases?
Yes, I do.
What percentage of cases are criminal cases?
It's maybe half and half.
Half criminal, half civil?
I don't keep track of it in that way, but that would be a guess.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I don't keep track of numbers of civil or criminal cases that I'm consulted in. If I had to give an estimate, it would be half and half. I've worked on over 1,000.
Okay. So I'm not going to bore you with her testimony. Let's get to the reporting on the station nightclub fire. According to the chief medical examiner, Dr. Laposata did not respond to the scene despite several phone calls. As a result, the medical investigator on duty remained at the scene for more than 17 hours after the fire was out. She wasn't there for 17 hours. They were waiting for her. Laposata told Titan staff she does not recall the phone calls. So here's the New York Times. She also had a issue that 1,500 autopsies were not done, and during an argument whether to let this in, Alan Jackson said that she was such a perfectionist, i.e. poor manager, that she insisted on personally overseeing every single exam herself, which sounded impossible in her job. And that's why 1,500 weren't done, just left undone. And that the victims' families were like up in arms. They were still waiting forever. And they couldn't get their loved ones' remains back. The Office of the Examiner, that's her great honor to the dead, you know, with her victims' rights. The Office of the Examiner, Dr. Laposata, has been criticized about its handling of organ and tissue donations. Also, thank you, New York Times, for reminding me. That's another thing, is that she was getting money from organ and tissue donations. So when people died and gave their organs, she profited. And there was some kind of impropriety with money there, which I can't believe didn't come in. Health officials said the findings would not affect the standing of the cases. Dr. Laposata was criticized in a federal report. Do you think that if she just showed a federal report, a federal investigation, her phone records, and that she got no calls, they wouldn't say that this was true? Okay? For her handling of the 2003 nightclub fire in Warwick that killed 100 people. The report says she took hours to arrive at the scene and sent only one investigator despite being told of the fire's magnitude. That one investigator was on the scene for 17 hours. So she knew about it. She sent someone in her place. So that'll show you, I mean, at least to me, that makes me think that she's in the big leagues as far as liars go. Here's John DiPietro, who had personal experience with the nightclub fire, talking about it. Let's listen to what he says about Dr. Laposata, etc.
This woman on the stand, Marie Laposata. And what have I been saying? What have I been telling?
Marie, it's Elizabeth, but never mind. Her name is Dr. Laposata.
People when they were going to put her on. I remember her, Laposata. This is a paid mercenary. This is what she does. She is a rate card. See this fraud, Darth Vader? What's with the breathing? With the moaning. What kind of witness is this? What, does she need a cigarette? Jesus, bring the oxygen tank for crying out loud. What a fraud. I remember this quack. Station nightclub fire. Alan Jackson, by the way, just misrepresented to the court. Station nightclub fire, February 2003. 100 dead. Boom. Fire started on a Thursday night at 11:03. She's the state medical examiner. Let's do the timeline. I was there. We didn't have the live stream then. I was there. State medical examiner. Laposata. It sounds like in Young Frankenstein, right? When they're like, oh, what's that? Didn't get that. The moaning. Jesus, on the microphone. But anyhow, get her an oxygen tank for crying out loud. Gee, I wonder if anybody used to smoke Marlboro Lights or Newports. Sounds like the monster in Young Frankenstein. But I remember Laposata. Oh, I remember that. Gee, why would I remember that? Fire started 11:03. State medical examiner. Now, many of you know when we're out at a crime scene, let's just say it's a shooting and it's 6 o'clock at night. By 9 o'clock at the latest, latest.
You know, I think it's like the evil coming out of her. This breathing. It's like, it really just felt like this evil force had come into the courtroom. You know, in like horror movies, when you can see your breath, like the ghost isn't there, but you can like see your breath. Just the sound. It's like, what? You know, just like this really heavy, uneven, nervous breath after everything that she says.
We see the ME come up. And then they're going to remove, right? They're going to remove the body.
And in the other trial, with the doctor who killed his wife and threw her in the lake, horrible, she wouldn't even come in person. For some reason, she was on a Zoom call. For what reason, I don't know.
When the police have completed the whole element of the scene, they've completed it. So the fire started 11:03, station nightclub fire on a Thursday night. Take a guess when she showed up. Did she show up at 1 a.m? They started calling her right away. And this is so bizarre. I remember this. There were hearings about this. I remember talking about it with Governor Guteriez at the time. She said, I'm on my way at 1 o'clock. We have a unbelievable situation here. You're the state medical examiner. On my way. They called her at 2 o'clock. Oh, I'm on my way. I'm leaving now. 2 a.m. They called her at 3 o'clock. She's still here. I'm leaving now. She showed up 17 hours later. Think of this. Think of all the people that arrived there before she did. 6 o'clock in the morning, still not there. She told them, I'm on my way. But it gets better. 10 o'clock.
Right. It's like, it's even better to just say, I can't make it till whenever. But they're expecting you to arrive any minute, and you just keep saying you're on your way, you're on your way. I mean, I guess at 12 years into the job, you feel like you just can't be fired. They've had issues with, for Laposata's defense, I hate to defend her, but they've had other issues with other medical examiners not being able to do the work and getting behind. Like, I don't know, if there were cuts, right? If they were going to cut, you understand why there's, right? They made cuts. But what happened during her time? Why was she so far behind? If she said that she couldn't keep to that standard, her standard is already pretty low. If she has 1,500 autopsies that haven't been done, she won't do it, right? Because it's going to be cuts and she's going to lose staff. She can't honor her dead like she wants to. I mean, that's essentially what she's saying, communicating. I mean, it is nonsense. Nonsense. When she's needed on the scene, where is she? Nowhere. Empty promises, empty promises.
Noon. Still no show. 100 bodies. The people are on the scene, by the way. I mean, I was there. All the bodies were in there. They're waiting for her. 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock. I was on the radio all day. When I get off the radio, I drove there. And they were going to have a press conference live on CNN. And as I arrived, I was on all day on the radio on HJJ. And as I'm arriving, I see, I recognized her. I knew who she was. I remember I said to her,
That's a really key point. Did you guys hear that? So when she knew that there was going to be a press conference and they would note her absence, when she had a TV ready moment, right? She loves these big trials involving herself. Again, another Dr. Russell. Somebody who likes to involve themselves in the trial with a big ego, wants to get on TV, knows that they're going to notice that she's not there. She's not on TV. She shows up. Suddenly she can show up for the press conference, but not to do the really hard work. That she'll leave to the underlings, or her one underling, one guy, one person, one, I don't know if it was a male or a female. One person was there. One person with 100 bodies. That's her honoring the dead.
to one of the officials, is that, yeah. I said, just showing, yep, just arriving now. So bizarre. It's insanity. This is the expert. You know, I hope you picked up on this lady. By the way, again, if you pay her a certain amount of money, she'll say whatever you want her to say. Right? She'll say, she doesn't care. And you got a hint of this. Hank Brennan, by the way, this afternoon is going to crucify this lady, and rightfully so, on the stand. But her trick is, she says, oh, I didn't look at.
So I'm not so sure he did. And here's where I wonder, okay, call me cynical. But is this woman such a big force in amongst defense attorneys that he doesn't want to end her? You know what I mean? End her on the stand. For other defense attorneys? I don't know. It would just, is it possible? She's such a liar. See, this is why I think he didn't call William Reed to the stand either. Because here's the problem with major league liars, right? Is they can be very convincing. And is Karen Reed going to take the stand? Everybody says no. I think we're like, 80-something% of my audience says no. I'm with you. I don't think she's going to take the stand. I'd be shocked if she took the stand. My girlfriend says she might. Certainly would be in line with her, take charge of this, my butt's on the line. You know, you attorneys, I'm going to be, she's manning this ship. She's going to go to the sidebars. She's going to pick out which lawyer is going to do what cross, et cetera, even if it means throwing a cross to Alan Jackson, who's really not prepared. But I don't think they've made, my feeling is, I don't know. Laposata, if they buy her, it's a problem. If even one jury bought her nonsense, it's a problem. But is it enough? You know, in the Maxwell trial, I often talk about this one, and to me, she's the queen of pro-killer, pro-predator. I mean, she called her book Witness for the Defense. You know I'm talking about Dr. Elizabeth Loftus, another doctor, but she's not a medical doctor. Or is she? I thought she's a PhD. Is she a psychiatrist and I'm wrong? She's a psychologist. She's a PhD. Okay. She was in the Maxwell trial, and they used some of King of the Cold Cases, John Lewin's cross-examination that was so brilliant in the Robert Durst trial. I mean, it's just got to be one of the great cross-examinations of all time. Maybe, one of the greatest I've ever seen, for sure. Along with, I put some of Hank Brennan's cross-examinations up there in this. I mean, really, some of the, really surprising and amazing cross-examinations, that really wow you. And so they used some of it. It was a federal trial. They couldn't use all of the things that he used in California. In New York against Elizabeth Loftus when she was testifying for Ghislaine Maxwell. I was in the courthouse watching this. And the jury was just apparently mesmerized by her. She still got convicted. Love to know the jury's reaction to Laposata.
Look at that. Did you look at the vehicle? No, didn't look at that. Did you go to the scene? No. Did you examine? No. Nope. See, if she doesn't look at it, she can say, "Oh, I didn't look at that." Here's the real answer.
I think that's damaging too, though, when you say you don't look at something. I think when you don't look at the body, and that's also the problem with, a weakness that I've been thinking about to Hank Brennan's approach. And I'm not saying it's going to mean Karen Reed's going to walk or whatever. It's not going to be the reason. It's a very slick presentation. But when you have a lot of the people, like a neurosurgeon who was brilliant. I'm not saying he wasn't brilliant, but he didn't actually look at the body. That takes a little bit of the power away from you saying, well, the state witnesses really looked at the body. Well, neither did a lot of the Commonwealth's witnesses here. They had the medical examiner, and that's key, but she can't say, with any certainty. She knows how he died, but, one of the more ridiculous things that Laposata said was that he died very quickly within 15 minutes. And I was waiting to hear about the darkened pancreas, why that wasn't brought up. Maybe it was, and I missed it. I don't know. Obviously, I need to listen again. I was in a coma for today. I don't know. Maybe it's too much. Maybe I've gotten into a coma. But you heard, she said he got killed very quickly. And then his temperature dropped because he was dead, the way a dead body's temperature drops 4 degrees every hour. Really? Is that when you're encased in a blizzard? Is that the same if you're in a blizzard, 4 degrees? Does it really drop 4 degrees? Wouldn't you be a little colder than 80 degrees? If you're totally dead for hours and hours in a blizzard? Really? Love to hear another person's opinion on that. Here, I'll just end up. I'll finish. This is John DiPietro. This is his take, but I thought it was important because he was there at the station nightclub fire press conference. He was watching it watching these events unfold in real time. And it's very easy to come after the event and say, oh, all, fake news. But I just find that they're not going to, in a federal report, a detail this big, they're not going to check it out. Really? They're not going to look at her phone records? Really? Really?
She doesn't want to look at it. She doesn't look at it because then she can say, I don't know. It's limited scope. They're safe if they do limited scope. So I agree. She's saying some things that they want her to say. But the fact of the matter is, she doesn't dig deeper to get to the real.
Okay, Rockstar 60 says, NBC 10, I just thought maybe she'll be a surprise witness, is reporting that Karen Reed will not testify. Everyone, including me, is correct. I just don't think she has the guts to do it, ultimately. Yeah. I didn't think she ended him. I don't know if you can end a monster like this, a professional liar. I mean, this is like the same with William Reed. With these real professional liars, unless you're asking them things that you have them dead to rights on, you know, a lot of the really important stuff is like, I mean, we know that Peggy O'Keefe said none of this happened. We know that Paul O'Keefe said none of this happened, that he had a cup of coffee and they talked about the flooring. When I'm talking about after Karen Reed came back from the hospital to collect the murder vehicle. So I just thought he would lie shamelessly. I would love for him to have called William Reed to the stand, but it's a big risk. Big risk. That guy will lie. Like, he can be very convincing. I mean, I picked him out as a creepazoid immediately. But obviously he's very convincing to get in the positions that he's got. And I mean, he was like running the finance department for, you know, a while, whatever.
Answer. That's my opinion. I want to be very clear. That's my opinion on this. You've seen people that do very in-depth evaluations. But if you just keep saying, oh, I don't know, I didn't look at that, then your opinion, you can give your opinion because it's, as they say, limited in scope. Folks, this portion of our program brought you
right. All right. Before he gets into the heavy breathing, and that's John DePietrio's, his story about being at the station nightclub fire. Thought it was important to share. Certainly disputes. Will he be called? Will he be called as a surprise witness? Can he be called with the sequestration order? V. Tim says, I find it funny that Karen Reed acts like a big, bad arse staring down Hank. Yeah, I played that today. But she's too scared to go on the stand. They always are. Whether it is Aidan Carney or Karen Reed or another psychopathic person I'm talking about, they love to bully, but they're ultimately very weak in wimps. I mean, Aidan Carney asked, you know, for protection in jail. I mean, you know, that's what I hear, or be singled out. He was scared. Karen Reed needs a coward at heart and lets other people do her work. I mean, forgive me if I'm wrong. I mean, that's what I've heard about Aidan Carney. Maybe I'm wrong. Take that with a grain of salt. He's making faces and noises like he's crying in the back of a car. He played it himself on his own show, so certainly looks like he's feeling sorry for himself in the back of the cop car. Okay, but she's too scared to go on the stand. Karen Reed's a coward at heart and lets other people do her dirty work for her. Yep, agree with you. But what happened? I mean, what happened? Why aren't any of the Free Karen readers thinking, why did Karen Reed's defense change? There's only one truth. If Karen Reed doesn't know the truth, if she doesn't know who did it, why is she pointing fingers? Why did she point fingers so quickly at Jen McCabe and the Alberts and the McAlberts? And then all of a sudden it switched. This trial, it's Brian Higgins and the Alberts and Jen McCabe are really long forgotten. I mean, really, it's kind of like she'll kind of point fingers after her testimony, but not really. Now the big suspicion is on Higgins and what was he doing in the police besides moving cars? Perhaps listening to his phone messages or on the phone, we don't know. I mean, it's so weak, their case. I can't believe it. I mean, what happens if she gets, if you go on Polymarket, let me show you Polymarket. So Polymarket, so anyone who feels that she and is a gambler, you can like quadruple your money on Polymarket. Feels like she's going to get convicted. Let me show you. Karen Reed, if you think she will be found guilty in the officer's death. So does that mean second-degree murder or manslaughter? So either one. Right? Hold on. If you put $100 down, you can get 400 and something, $85, something like that. There's only a 22% chance, the Polymarket says. Polymarket says acquitted on all charges, 70% chance. It was 69% today, so is the 1% Laposata? I don't know. Prison time, yes, yay or nay. No prison time, 5 years. I'm not a betting person myself, but here's Polymarket where we're at. Pretty much hasn't changed. But if you want to bet, so like say if you say yes, if you put down $10, you can get 43, 48. Will she be acquitted? No. $25. Less money on total acquittal. If you put down $10, you can win 25. And various for all this prison time. You can guess the prison time. But I mean, 30 years is a life sentence in Massachusetts. So thought I'd share that with you. Just a little. I mean, is it the free Karen readers? Is it people thinking, well, the press is all behind her. The innocence fraud campaign is going to come into the courtroom. Okay, so I want to talk about another. So it's changed. Her defense has changed. What happened to the 207 phone search? Gone. They didn't even defend that this time. They had no expert willing to testify to the 227 phone search. It happened at 6:23 and 6:24. Right? The house long to die in the cold, that's gone. So what connects? So if that's gone, I mean, it's not in the free Karen readers' hearts. They're not talking about it anymore. Or at least I don't hear them talk about it. That's just forgotten. They've just moved on about it. Then they said he was killed in the basement. Now he's killed in the garage. Why in the garage? Because it's closer to where he could be because his phone never moved. Right? So now they're trying to tailor their story to the evidence. I mean, it's so painfully obvious. Besides all the other evidence that proves Karen Reed's killed. Do these free Karen readers really think that Proctor can change phone data, Apple Health data? I mean, the way his body cooled down. Think all these people are lying that he never went in the house? Never even, he went in the side garage and nobody saw him? Is that their defense? It's hard to know. It's just picking holes in the state's case and Commonwealth's case. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, let me have a free Karen reader, put it all together using all of the evidence. any of the evidence presented in court, put it together in a way that's coherent from beginning to end that proves innocence. You can't do it. It's all things that were done outside of court. Like, well, I saw Aidan Carney go 24 miles an hour and he couldn't. Really? Because it seems like your own defense expert proved that you could smash a tail light with an arm. And that it strangely moved you around just the way Trooper Paul said he did. Said John O'Keefe was turned around and flung onto the lawn. I mean, they keep talking about like holes in the back. Why there are no holes in the back of the shirt? Why no hypothermia? Your latex spouse, who may be coming on from 10 to 11 when to fill in for me tomorrow. She wants, I don't know. It's up to you, your latex spouse, if you want to come on. Holding down the fort during the trial, says the Reeds remind me of the Adelsons. Daddy Reed equals Donna Adelson. Very good. The arrogance, right? It's the arrogance. Good analogy. I don't know. I think Daddy Reed might be even darker than Donna Adelson. But it's that same spoiled, it's that spoiled sense of entitlement that they bring to everything. I mean, you have to, he doesn't look too happy, Daddy Reed. His head is down most of the trial. I'm going to take a quick break. When we get back, I'm going to wrap this up. This is going to just be a short one. Oh, I've already talked. Look, I said a short one. I've already talked, but just a quick break. I'll be back in a minute. Don't go anywhere. Please hit that like. I would have say on your way in, but you've been here a while, but please hit the thumbs up. Let's get the algorithm moving. I want to thank, actually, before I take a break, let me thank a few people. 1 minute. I want to thank Jan Kershaw, Marcy Denton, Carol Holderman. Thank you so much for donating to the show via Venmo. If you want to support the show, all these shows, every single Karen Reed show, you have allowed me to do this reporting on Karen Reed. I really couldn't do it without you. Links are in the description of this episode. You can send me a Venmo, buy me a coffee, or become a Patreon member. All great ways to support the channel. I will be back in 1 minute. As soon as I get myself in order. Don't go anywhere. Actually, you know what?
Bored and retired, threw myself into a high-profile trial, thirsty for attention and admiration. I'm the best expert in the entire nation. Get paid to lie by the hour. Making stuff up is my superpower. I see dog bites. I see dog bites. Just pay me and I'll tell you they are dog bites. Limp to the stand, decked out in polyester. Lay my lies on the court and let them fester. Oh, puncture wounds in the shirt. Testified to a great deal, I'm certain. Hell, they'll say anything. It's the prosecution that's got the burden. I'm the best expert that's ever been. Who else can testify to a dog bite by a canine without a chin? Don't need evidence to state my claims. There's a lot of hounds in the world. One's got to be blamed. I'll do anything
Hey, Ginger, nice to see you. Okay, we are back. You know, and in remember when Trooper Paul gave his evidence? Here's a good video made by Lydia on X. She says an apology is owed. I mean, the same thing I've been saying to Trooper Paul. I mean, their defense essentially proved the Commonwealth's case. So we ended the day with Rentschler, where he's going to go. I mean, he was like one of these guys at parties just name dropping. Yeah, I did this for the hockey league, you know, and this, all my great accomplishments. All I could see him is like in this like 70s kind of leisure suit and a drink at a party trying to pick up a girl. It was like he's trying to pick up the jury. You know that I did all this like work for the hockey league. You know, they don't have concussions thanks to me. I mean, where is he going to go? Where is he going to go where their own testing proves that he was hit in the arm? I mean, look at the way Alan Jackson bullied and mocked Trooper Paul in Cross. Take a listen. A look or listen, depending whether you're on podcast.
Let me ask you this. Based on your reconstruction, nearly 2-year investigation, exactly how was that taillight shattered? Explain it to us.
How does the taillight? What do you? It gets so the taillight in this case was shattered when it was struck John O'Keefe's arm.
Exactly what part of his arm?
Based on what I saw for his injuries, was from the upper part of his arm down.
You know, the older I get, the more I think, the more slick you are in life, the more you can present well and get people to like you, the more wary I am. Because, I mean, this guy was right. He was right. And you have these slick, you know, crash daddy Daniel Wolf coming in like, oh, you're going to be hit by a car. And dropping like Newton's law. Oh, did you hear me, Jory? I said Newton's law. So, you know, I just dropped that that's just in my regular vocab, Newton's law. I loved when they said, how much did he didn't weigh. This is my favorite part of his cross-examination. He didn't weigh 170 pounds, John O'Keefe, did he? Not all of him. I hope that's the new standard for weight. It's not all of me, but I do weigh this, but not all of me, just some of me weighs that. I mean, the guy is these slick people. Watch out for him.
Was his arm out? It just struck the arm like a hinge? Was it in front of him? You did the reconstruction? Here's exactly how his body was positioned when he was struck by that.
So it looks like his arm was more kind of like this. If I can try to get that.
You're indicating out by his side, correct?
Yes.
All right. And the taillight would have struck his arm, right?
Yes.
Not his torso.
Yes.
Okay. So.
Because we know he was holding a glass, right? And we also know neat freak John O'Keefe. It's like, why is his arm out? So I was maybe neat freak John O'Keefe would hold the glass a little further from his body, you know? Or I've often wondered if he saw it at the last minute and it's like, you know, a defensive kind of posture, even though you know your arm isn't going to stop a car, you know, it's just like a natural reflex to kind of put it up, you know? I don't know. Was it up or was it out? Either way, it obviously smashed the taillight. Let me know what you think.
The full mass, the full weight of that truck hit him basically at the elbow. Is that right?
No. I said it, yeah, from the upper part of the arm down. Yeah.
The elbow and the biceps.
I didn't see anything that shows an indication that this lower torso was struck, but
Okay. So
it's not saying it could not have been a possibility, but I just didn't see anything.
So his torso was spared, from being hit, but the arm took the brunt, the full force of the vehicle, correct?
Like arm and shoulder, yes.
Okay. And you said he then did a spin, like a sort of a pirouette?
He got spun around possibly the way he struck, it looked like it could have turned around counterclockwise.
Okay. So if he turns around counterclockwise, is he turning around in the air counterclockwise?
Yes, initially.
So he gets hit on the upper biceps, shoulder area, and down to the forearm, right?
Yes.
I mean, the free Karen readers laughed and laughed, pirouetted and flown. I was like, yeah, I was saying, yeah. That's what I think happened at the time. Listen to me. I don't think it was that absurd to get flown. I mean, what you realize also from this case, and that was interesting also on Wolf's Cross. Sorry, I'm getting a little distracted. But is that when Hank Brennan asked Dr. or I can't even call him Dr. Daniel Wolf about the substituting mass, so like substituting speed for weight or mass. So they said because they didn't have like the right weight arm, they hit that hanging pinata arm. Thank you, ER. Came up with that phrase. I love that. The pinata arm at 29 miles an hour instead of 24 miles an hour in reverse. But what you realize is the speed, what 24 miles an hour in reverse looks like and what full throttle looks like and the force it has. Was he really injured just going 24 miles an hour? Like it's 2 miles an hour. 24 miles an hour is not 2 miles an hour. It's like the free Karen readers just wanted to minimize everything. What? With 24 miles an hour, was he really all that force? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look at it. And this guy's suspended too. So, but you see the twist and you see how he would have been twisted out of his shoe there. And you see why people are knocked out of their shoes.
By an unbroken taillight, right?
Yes.
In other words, it's nice and smooth. Nothing, no shards of plastic or anything broken at the time that it made contact with his arm, right?
Correct.
Okay, so how does his arm get all cut up?
Because when his arm struck the taillight then cracked. And as the car is driving past him, the taillight could scratch it.
Got it. So he gets hit by the car, not his torso, just the arm. The taillight cracks, and as it passes by, his arm stays with it long enough to get striations, those scratches that you see, those lacerations, those abrasions that you see, right?
Look at that. So he's trying to tell the jury they're lacerations. That's another lie that the defense has been trying to. Excuse me, lacerations. I mean abrasions. They're trying to, because they want it to be deeper and more serious because they're trying to say dog bites. Dogs don't just like play bite. Let me tell you.
In a sense, yes.
And at the same time, he does a pirouette and flies 30 feet to his final point of rest.
So there it is. There it is. We all owe Trooper Paul a big, or Free Karen Reed owes Trooper Paul. We don't owe him anything, but owes him an apology. That's really what I have for today. Anybody else have anything else to say before I go? I'm not going to keep this any longer than I have. I have to go back and listen again. Because clearly you're telling me I missed a big part of it. They should bring Trooper Paul back for victim impact statements. The way he was treated, true, Maestro, true. Yeah. I mean, I was so angry. I'll say it again. I was so angry when Judge Cannoni would let back in someone like, and I'm not talking about Rentschler. I think she should have split it. I don't think Wolf should have been able to testify, but thank God he was able to testify. Because I thought, wow, you're inviting back a person who perjured themselves back in to lie to the jury. Come back on in and lie to the jury some more. Thank God they did. Thank God they did. Everyone say good night. They've had enough. All right. You know, you'll be shocked. Yaha, you think it's not? You'll be shocked. You may be right. It's just not the way I see it. Do you have a reason why you'd be shocked? I thought that they proved the state's case, or the Commonwealth's case, but I am not the typical juror. Yeah, Wolf was one of the best witnesses for the Commonwealth. Thank you. I thought so too. Thought it was devastating for the defense. I mean, they can say not a car, but then they show these clips that look exactly like what the Commonwealth's case is. I mean, that was one of the things that they played that got thrown out today. All right. I wasn't surprised that it was a hung jury, but everybody was saying she was going to be acquitted. So I would be surprised if she's acquitted this time around. I think she's going to get convicted of something, but I don't know. I never like to predict a jury. You just don't know. She could be. She could be acquitted of everything and walk. Innocence fraud is powerful. All right. There you go. Have a great night, everybody. Please hit the thumbs up on your way out. Subscribe to support the channel. Share this episode. Tell your friends. Be on Court TV tomorrow between 10 and 11. But before that, I'll be on with you guys in the morning a little bit. Okay? Have a terrific night. Thanks for listening.
I hit my boyfriend with my car. It wasn't an accident, but with lying lawyers I'll go far. Lying lawyers and witness harassment. I'll avoid prison. It was snowing. I pushed the pedal down, hit him hard. Now the legal system I clown. Innocence fraud campaign to save my skin. Making money, truth is my second victim. Carry, Jen, like John, you were my mark. My innocence fraud campaign is my biggest hit. Yeah. I hit my boyfriend with my car. It wasn't an accident, but with lying lawyers I'll go far. Lying lawyers and witness harassment. I'll avoid prison. It was snowing. I pushed the pedal down, hit him hard. Now the legal system I clown. Innocence fraud campaign to save my skin. Making money, truth is my second victim.